Hey guys, you guys made it this far in watching my video so far, and the purpose of this video is to show you why we're going to switch over to a different calculator, which is what we call the TI Nspire. This is what it looks like. It's a little slimmer than your TI-84, and then once most of you guys will have this white lining behind it. So the question is, why are we switching to a calculator for this class? The big reason is because of data transfer. There's going to be a lot of huge data sets that we work with. Some of them only maybe like 30 data points, but when we're working with this as a classroom and one person just types in one digit incorrectly and another kid types a different digit incorrectly, it slows down the class significantly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tend to feed you guys most of the data. And in some cases, you guys could handle your own data for some of your individual projects or assignments. But as far as class problem sets, it's just easier to do that. And also, you'll find that saves you a lot of time. Another thing is there's a lot of statistical functions are in the same spot as opposed to the TI-84. The TI-84 has a button that you have to go through different avenues to find the different statistical functions, whereas on the TI Nspire, they tend to be within the same region where you could find them. So I already pre-recorded some of these TI Nspire videos that might help you in case you guys forget how to do certain things. So in the beginning, it's a little rocky, but second semester, you'll start to see the payoff. If you look at my YouTube channel, I have a playlist called TI Nspire Skills. This is not for the general public. The general public can watch this, but they correspond directly with this textbook. For example, there's chapter 1 skills, chapter 2, chapter 3. And then if you guys are paying attention to the actual title, it'll give you an idea of what kinds of topics are covered in it. So when you guys are studying for the AP test, you guys can review it and remember what to do on the calculator, because I don't want you guys to suffer because you don't remember how to push what buttons and where. So let's dive on into this. All the TI Inspired tutorials are going to look like this, where it's a software. You guys have an actual handheld calculator, and it's going to work exactly the same. So you see right here, whatever button I push is going to be the same button that you push on these calculators as well. So the first button you'll naturally push is the on button. And when you push the on button, this is also called the home button. So the home button will take you typically to this page. And if it doesn't, you just push it again and it'll take you to this page. And this freaks out a lot of kids because they're like, I just want to type in like 5 times 2 or something, or just do something very simple arithmetic, and they don't even know how to access the calculator app. So this freaks out a lot of students. If you look down here, there's 7 different apps, and we're going to start off with the first app, which is right here. You could also use a scratch pad right here, but I'm going to recommend that you start getting comfortable with the apps. The way this calculator works, it works on what we call a document system. So when you open this app, you see this 1.1 right here. You want to pay attention to that because that's going to play a role. And then you could do whatever kind of calculation you want. You could do like 3 plus 5 times 2. What I like about this calculator, it gives you feedback on the order of operations. For example, you know that you should be 5 times 2 first, then you add the 3. So it displays it exactly the way you would want to see it in like a math problem per se. So if we did something like this, 1 plus 5 over 6. Notice that it's 1 plus 5 over 6, and that's 1 and 5, 6. If you want to do something like 6 over 6, you want to do 1 plus 5 on the top, you would have to put in something like parentheses, 1 plus 5. And notice that there's an automatic closed parentheses, and you could hit divided by 6. And then this one, it follows the order of operations, and you could see that as well. So let me try one more example that freaks people out. People don't like this actually right here, this 11 over 6 thing going on. So let's actually type that in one more time. 11 divided by 6. You're going to hit 11 divided by 6. And some people don't want 11 over 6. They want 1 point whatever 5, 6 is. And the way to do that, if you look at the enter button right above it, there's a blue squiggly equal sign, which means approximation. So you could hit Control Enter, and then that will give the approximate answer. So for some of you guys who are used to the TI-84, you guys just by default want this. So if you want to change the default settings, you could hit Document, go to Settings and Status, and then we're going to go to Document Settings. and then you could scroll down. So how do we scroll down? There's a up, left, right, down arrow right here. It's a touchpad. So on this, you can literally hit up, down, left, and right. So I'm going to hit down up until I hit calculation mode right here. So this calculation mode, we have three options. We could either do auto, exact, or approximate. You just hit the right button, or you can hit enter once to get this. And exact will give you the exact fraction. 11 over 6 as an exact number is 11 over 6. That's how the math teachers like it. The science teachers probably want an approximate value. So we're going to hit OK right here. And then next time you hit 11 over 6, it'll give you 1.8333. And unless you reset the calculator, it will no longer do this. So let's talk about the reset button very quickly. In case your calculator is flipping out for some reason, there's a hard reset button right here. And yes, there's a label on this calculator. I've had this for about 10 years. But there's a reset button. It's very tiny. It's like the size of a pin. You just use a pencil and you could just like push it. You could always use that to just reset your calculator in case it flips out. So another thing I want to go over is what I call variables. We're going to use variables a lot in this class. Let's say I want to store 11 over 6 as a variable. If you look right above var right there, there's stow for store. So you guys have seen this in your TI-84 before. We can store this by hitting Control var, just like in your TI-84. And then you can store this to any name you want. I'm going to name this after my last name, Han. So if you did Han plus 3. Notice that it got bold right here. That means that the calculator recognizes it as a variable name, and then it'll give you 3 units up from Han, okay? Now, I want to talk about variables you do not ever want to use. When I say you don't want to use, maybe if you're in a calculus class, you might want to use something like pi, which gives you 3.14159. Or exp is Euler's number. So if you did exp to the 1, it gives you 2.71828. If you want to look at some of the other apps, you can hit the home button again, and then we could take a look at the next app. So this is the calculator app that we're on. If you use either the mouse feature or the keypad feature, you can you can select different apps. Now for mousing, you can actually physically move on this touchpad, and it will physically move a mouse on the screen. I actually prefer most people to just use the left, right, up, down arrows. And then this is a graphing feature, which could have been useful in Algebra 2 or pre-calculus. You could have typed in something like x squared. So first of all, where the heck is x? You notice that x is down here, and that is the variable x, and then you could hit an x squared. The reason why I say that it's the variable x is because some things are not the way they seem. Like for E, this letter E is not the Euler E. The E right here is the Euler E. It's a little incoherent sometimes. Now, what's nice about this is if you use the mouse feature on your calculator, you could actually do weird things. Like you could like click and grab, and you could do stuff like that. But we're not going to use the graphing feature too much in this class, so I want to just move on to the next app. So you could go back to the home button right here. Remember, the home button is going to be one of our favorite buttons in this class. So you're going to want to remember, if I don't know what to do, just hit the home button. The other favorite button is going to be menu. So two favorite you're going to want to remember is home and menu. There's an app right here. It's for geometry. It's not very useful even for geometry, I'm going to be honest. But there's this feature, which we're going to use a ton. It's the spreadsheet. So it looks like an Excel spreadsheet. And if you want to enter any type of univariate data, let's say we want to look at all the ages of the classroom. We could say age, and that's going to be my new variable name. So age, and let's say the ages are 16, 17, 18, 18, and 19, something like that. We could put this in. Now, I want to talk about the tabs because this is very important. If you look at the top right here, you notice that these are all different tabs. For example, 1.1 was the calculator, and we could go there by either using the mouse feature and then mousing over and clicking on it, or you can hit Control right or Control left. So if you want to hit Control left or Control right, you can navigate between the tabs. And what's kind of cool about this is that the variable names are stored. So we said the variable name was age. The calculator recognized that age was a variable that you created. And if we did something like age plus 3, just like Han, it will take all the values that we input and add 3 to them. So that's pretty useful. I want to go back to the spreadsheet. And again, there are more names you want to avoid. Like, let's say we were going to, for each student, we're going to find the number of sins that they committed. You don't want to do sin because in trigonometry, sin actually means sine. Okay, so we're not, if you want to talk about sin, you could actually make it sins. So the number of sins the 16-year-old committed maybe was like 1,000, or maybe the 17-year-old committed only one. So you could do whatever with this kind of stuff, and you can match up the different data like this. But you want to avoid sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent. Those are the variable names that you want to avoid. I want to show you how you can also manipulate some of the variables within the spreadsheet. So let's not talk about sins. Let's talk about doubling an age. So we could say dub age. You can make a new variable. And right here in this equal sign, or if you just even hit enter, it'll automatically pop this out, dub age. And we can literally just do 2 times, and then you could type in age. And then it will double all the ages right here. So that's another way we're going to handle some of the variables. And I will go over this with you guys in class, so I wouldn't freak out too much about it. I want to go over one last thing, which is how to handle different documents. This is actually the most important part of this video. And a lot of you guys will do some crazy thing like constantly create tabs. And the problem with this is you're going to create variables with different names every single time to avoid old variables. So if you want to just refresh, you could, the easiest way is you hit the home button and then you go to new, and then it says, do you want to save? Most of the time it's going to be no. Okay. And then you could just, you notice that it pops you here. You can hit the home button again, it'll pop you right here. If you didn't like this, you could go back to here and then you could still access the apps through here. And then you get a fresh set of tabs that you can do. So if I type in age, the calculator has absolutely no clue what I'm talking about. If you did age plus 1, it's just like age plus 1. I don't know what age means. The most important feature is opening documents, actually. So the feature that you might want for some of your homework is this button right here. There's a doc button, DOC. If you click on that, you'll notice that you could handle documents like a normal file manager, like you would in a PC. And you can, if you use the arrows to select, you could go to File, and then we can choose a new document, which we just did with an easier way, or we can open a document. This is where the power of the calculator really comes in for Stats AP and facilitating the speed of my classroom. So if we hit Open Document, and you could open up different documents. Now, I'm going to have preloaded documents for you guys, and there might be a folder like Chapter 1 Data, and then you could see these are going to be some of the examples that we use in this classroom. And then even if you scroll down further, there are problems from the textbook that are on your homework. So there is one problem on Chapter 1, Problem 45. Do you want to save? Probably not. And then I don't know what this is referring to, but when you read the problem, it'll have preloaded data, and you notice that there's a lot of data to input. And like this one, the chance that you type in one value incorrectly could occur like maybe 1 out of 20 times, which is enough to annoy you, and enough to annoy me when I have a class about 36 kids. So this is where the power of the calculator comes in, and I highly encourage you guys to really use the document feature to facilitate and speed up the process. I really thank you guys for watching this video. I look forward to teaching you guys this year, and I'm excited. I'll see you guys next time.